The following is a presentation of 912 Sports. Welcome to On Air with 912 Sports, your number one source for high school sports. With Sean Smoke and Kevin Price. On Air with 912 Sports is brought to you by Coastal Pines Technical College. Go Coastal. Prime South Bank. Find your prime. Robbie Robertson Ford, because Fords are cheaper in the swamp. Gibson Animal Clinic, practical solutions with limited fees. Summit Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Surgery, the region's best orthopedic care. And Kim Smoke, licensed realtor with eXp Realty.
It makes sense Prime South Bank would have a great mobile app. Nobody is as mobile as our customers. For a century, they've chased dreams, followed their hearts, took the road less taken, made a new path, taken leaps of faith. At Prime South, offering the latest digital banking, secure pay apps, and new online lending is part of a mobile tradition that goes way back. Life is mobile. So is Prime South. Find your Prime. Member FDIC.
Play it loud and rev it up. Robbie Robertson's got trucks built for tough.
Make your way to Robbie Robertson Ford in Waycross, where the deals are bigger than ever. Looking for a stylish midsize car, a spacious SUV, or a truck that performs at work and play? Robbie Robertson wants your vehicle and is paying top dollar. Now is the time to buy. Fords are cheaper in the swamp.
Congratulations to all the 2024 graduates. Welcome, everybody, and thanks for watching On Air with 912 Sports. I'm Sean Smoke, publisher of 912 Sports, and we've got a great show for you tonight. Just like on a sporting event, they keep score in the classroom. And the 912 Sports coverage area, we had 3 valedictorians, and we'll take a look at all 3. Speaking of 3, the Pierce County girls golf team go back to back to back. And we've got baseball players that were part of the 912 coverage area doing great things at the college level. We'll talk about those guys as well. So stick around. We've got a great show for you tonight. You're watching On Air with 912 Sports.
Gibson Animal Clinic is ready to help with your animals. From cats to dogs to horses, we treat them all. Call on us for grooming, bathing, boarding, and more serious things like surgery, dentistry, spay, neuter, immunizations, heartworm prevention, flea control, complete lab testing, radiology, preventive health care. Call us at 285-7678. Open Saturdays for your convenience. Gibson Animal Clinic. Practical solutions with reasonable fees. Russell J. Gibson, DVM.
Gibson Animal Clinic, 108 Riverside Drive, Waycross.
Hablamos español en nuestra clínica.
Did you know that you can get a head start on your college career and save money at the same time through dual enrollment at Coastal Pines Technical College? Dual enrollment is open to high school juniors and seniors, tuition free. Talk to your high school counselor or visit coastalpines.edu for more information. Coastal Pines Technical College, an equal opportunity institution. Go Coastal.
Welcome, sports fans, and thanks for watching On Air with 912 Sports. I'm Sean Smoke, publisher of 912 Sports, joined as always by head writer and podcast host Kevin Price. Kevin, how you doing?
Good, Sean. Good to be here talking high school sports with you again. I guess we're into the summertime now here in the 912.
Exactly, Kevin. Graduations has been completed at almost all of our high schools in our 912 coverage area. And actually, Kevin, this is dead week, so there's really not a whole lot going on, athletically around. But we did want to talk a little bit about valedictorians, Kevin, for the first time, and refresh my memory. But I know we've had valedictorians that have been sports, participants in the past. But this year, the 912 coverage area has 3 valedictorians, and all 3 of them were featured in our magazine as scholar athletes. So I feel like that's probably the most we've ever had.
Hey, why not? Everybody else throws out these things about the first to have done this and first to have done that. So if you say so, Sean, you're the boss man. So I'll just go right along with you. But so much for just having dumb jocks here in Southeast Georgia, right? I mean, whether or not it's the first that we've ever had 3, I mean, the fact that we do have 3 is impressive. And obviously, we just had a thing here in Glenn County. I'm affiliated with the Glenn County Sports Hall of Fame. We had that on our show last week. We honor kids that get the job done on the field and in the classroom, and an impressive group there. So even if kids aren't valedictorians, we got a lot of kids making the marks in the classroom all throughout Southeast Georgia. But again, we did have the 3 kids that, as you said, we wanted to spotlight today because it's hard to be number 1 in your class, particularly when you're playing athletics. And these 3 kids do multiple things. Some of them play multiple sports, but then obviously if they're not on the playing field, they're in other clubs and other activities. So again, if we were to read their whole resume, we could do a whole show, but I guess we're going to dive right in and talk about these kids individually.
These guys are number 1 in big schools too. So we're going to start off with Nate Hayes. Nate Hayes from Effingham High School. Nate Hayes, one of the most decorated, sports athletes we ever had. He was a starting quarterback for the football team. He was featured in our August issue, which is our preseason football issue, as a scholar athlete. He was also named as our Coastal Pines Technical College Scholar Athlete of the Year for football. He's a 4-time class president, and oh, by the way, he's got a full ride going into Georgia Tech. But Nate, impressive young man. I guess one of the things that sticks out with me, Kevin, is we go to Media Day back in July over in Jessup, and all of a sudden I hear some cat in the corner playing the piano, and it's Nate who's sat down and he's knocking out Journey's "Don't Stop Believing" on the piano. I mean, this kid is multi-talented. He's going to do great things, and really, really proud to have him be part of the magazine. And like I said, looking for great things for him as he moves on to Tech. And I know, Kevin, you had a chance to interview him and talk to him at Media Day.
Yeah, you kind of stole my thunder there, because I was going to say that's one thing I remember about him was playing that piano, and you kind of hit the nail on the head there. He's a well-rounded individual, very cerebral kid. His head coach saw that immediately when he took that Effingham job in the quarterback room. He came, sat down, prepared. He was kind of ahead of where he was in the lesson plans, so to speak, and he saw that instantly going from the quarterback room to the field as well. Was able to take, what they talked about in the quarterback room and put it into play on the football field as well. But on the football field, a guy that can beat you with his arms and his legs, obviously, and we saw that as well. But again, well-rounded, I guess, would be the thing I would say about him. I mean, involved in a lot of clubs and activities. He went to some kind of competition where just that. I mean, he was able to show all of his skills and won a lot of different little competitions, or finished first, second, and third. And again, I think his parents are both educators, so they really stressed education to him, and just a real serious kid, but likes to have fun as well, like a lot of other teenagers. And the sky's really the limit for him. So the whole world's out there waiting on him, and he'll be a kid that'd be interesting to follow for sure. Just see exactly what all he does, and it might not be in athletics, but certainly he's got a good head on his shoulders and can certainly be a difference maker, and who knows what.
Kevin, I saw a graduation picture of his, and I mean, he had just cord after cord after cord around his neck. I've never seen a kid have that many cords, walking down the aisle for graduation. But congratulations to Nate, and like I said, looking forward to following his career. He progresses, on into college and then on into the workforce. But next up, Kevin, is Zachary Cole Pearson from New Hampstead. I remember talking to Coach Kyle Hockman back at one of the summer OTAs. I believe we were down in McIntosh, and he pulled me to the side and said, "Look, you got to look at this kid for a feature. I said, he's very impressive, but he was our scholar athlete back in our September-October issue. One of the things I found interesting about Zach is not only does he play basketball, but he was an all-region baseball player on top of being a football player. He's got several offers to play football. I know Stetson's one of them. Really, really good school down right outside of Daytona, Florida. But again, you had a chance to interview him for that September-October issue.
Yeah, I remember talking to him in the fall, like you say, for one of our football issues. And, obviously I think he was during the break in class or maybe right before practice. And, just a real serious kid is what I remember about him. But a yes or no, sir kid, comes from a football family. His dad, I think, is one of the assistant football coaches there at New Hampstead as well. I think he has a older brother and a younger brother that's going to be coming through. His younger brother might actually be an upcoming quarterback there with the school, but a big kid that looks good in the uniform. But obviously, again, he kind of is the quarterback of that offensive line for them, kind of knows all the positions. And, again, a real serious customer in the classroom and gets the job done there. But, again, a guy that, goes from one sport to another. So he has to manage his time and be disciplined in that area. And, again, with a dad that's an educator and parents that have instilled that discipline in him, he's able to do that. And, again, a kid who is going to probably go off and do great things beyond high school, beyond the athletic field as well.
Congratulations to Zachary Cole Pearson, New Hampstead's valedictorian. That moves us over to our third and final, not the least by no means, and that was Andy Peel from Wayne County. Andy's a valedictorian, there for the Yellow Jackets. Played baseball, played football. He was our March-April scholar athlete, and he's already accepted, to go to Georgia to be a pre-med student. I know he's a big biology fan, so you could be talking about Dr. Peel one day. So we'll see how. What path Andy takes, but congratulations to him and really just another super fine kid there over in Wayne County.
No question. And I remember from talking to him and his head coach, his coach, Coach McDonald, talked a lot of times about how they kind of joke about it. You could always see that mind kind of working, that thing's kind of spinning up there. And sometimes it's his own worst enemy, so they kind of had to, dial that back, if you will, and just get him to relax and play. Sometimes maybe he would overthink things too much, analyze things too much on the baseball field, just react and play. And I think he seemed to get better at that as the years went on. But again, another serious customer, a guy who seems to be headed in the right direction, knows exactly what he wants to do. Like you say, you pointed all that out, headed to UGA and pre-med, but kind of the typical teenager living in Jessup, likes to hunt and fish, likes his Georgia Bulldogs on the football field, certainly. So he'll have a ball with them, hopefully in Athens over the next several years, with them having the ball rolling under Kirby Smart. But again, a kid that played multiple sports, so he had to be disciplined there. And I remember talking to his coach. I mean, when it came to athletics versus academics, you knew what came first with him and his family. I mean, if it meant weightlifting or an AP class, he was going to be in that AP class first. And still, he was going to get his weightlifting in, though. I don't doubt that. But not going to miss class time to get an extra lift in. It was going to be the other way around, and they managed to get it all in. And again, a kid that is a serious customer in the classroom and is going to get the job done there. And again, going to pre-med, he's got a tough road to hoe, but obviously he's got his mindset on what he wants to do, and I'm sure he'll get it done.
Right. But three great young men. Congratulations to all of them. Like I said, that being valedictorian is something that nobody ever be able to take away from them. They put in the work, and trust me, it is a lot of work to be able to hold that moniker, to say I was the valedictorian of my high school. And congratulations to all those guys: Nate Hayes at Effingham, Zachary Cole Pearson at New Hampstead, and Andy Peel at Wayne.
Stick around, sports fans. We'll be right back after these messages.
At Summit Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Surgery, you don't have to be an athlete to get the region's best orthopedic care. Our board-certified orthopedic surgeons and physicians treat injuries and conditions that affect just about any joint or bone in your body. Plus, we're backed by the support of Southeast Georgia Health System. From fracture repair to joint replacement, Summit Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Surgery will get you moving again. Call 1-855-ASK-SGHS. That's 1-855-275-7447 or visit sghs.org/summit.
High schoolers, did you know that You can get a head start on your college career and save money at the same time through dual enrollment at Coastal Pines Technical College. Dual enrollment is open to high school juniors and seniors, tuition free. Talk to your high school counselor or visit coastalpines.edu for more information. Coastal Pines Technical College, an equal opportunity institution. Go Coastal.
Kevin, we'll move on and talk a little golf. Last week we talked about Ware County and Trace Carter winning the 5A state championship, and the girls and boys hosted here at Oconee. But we didn't get a chance to talk about Pierce County, the girls golf team over in Pierce County. We did want to give them a little bit of love and congratulations to those guys that go on the road, Kevin. And for the third year in a row, they are the state champions. First year, if you go back 3 years, was a AAA championship. The last 2 years have been AA, but they go on the road, go up to Athens, to the Athens Academy, who was the host of that tournament. I believe it was held at Chimney Oaks, a golf course right there outside of Athens. And the Lady Bears go up there, get it done. Fourth time in the last 5 years that they've been champions. Mackenzie Connell really leads that team. She's coming off an individual championship in 2023. I believe in 2022 she finished second, and again in 2024 she finished second. So she's been, one of the top two golfers in AA for the last 3 years. But we did want to give a shout out to all the players that are part of that team. Belle Sinclair, who's a sophomore, Molly Kate Dixon, who's a freshman, Lily Spivey, who is a senior, the only senior on that team, Mackenzie Connell, a junior, and then also Chloe Lynn, who's a sophomore. So, Kevin, if you only got one senior, that means you got all these girls coming back, and who knows, man, we could be talking about a four-peat here for the Pierce County Lady Bears.
Yeah, for sure. We've talked about it several times before. You got teams and you got programs, and I think it's safe to say that Pierce County doesn't have a golf team. They have a golf program, and obviously their game travels. I think they've hosted some state tournaments down there, some region tournaments down there, but they go up to a little more hilly course, I would assume, up there in Athens in North Georgia, and they get it done as well. So their game travels. And, you mentioned the younger girls on that team. Obviously, they probably grew up wanting to be Pierce County Lady Bears over there in Blackshear. They take golf seriously, coming up to the middle school ranks, and can't wait till they get to high school ranks. And here, some of the younger girls are already contributing to the team and contributing to another title run. And like you say, they're geared up already to do it again. So those kids just have to keep working hard, stay level-headed, stay humble, and try to improve their individual games to help the team score this time next year. So when it comes around to postseason tournament time again next year, you can expect to see the Lady Bears, right there in the hunt again. So everybody else better hold their honey, because here comes the Lady Bears already breathing down their necks again for next year.
Congratulations, Coach Stewart.
Make sure Jimmy Singleton watches this show. I did that for him.
Exactly. But congratulations to Coach Stewart Stipe. Great job there. And congratulations to the Lady Bears. Like I said, third year in a row that they are the AA, or actually state champs. 1 year was a AAA. The last 2 years, AA state champs. So congratulations to those girls. And again, I wouldn't be surprised if we're talking about them again next year for four-time state champions. But hey, let's take a quick break. We're going to come back and talk a little baseball right after these messages. But you're watching On Air with 912 Sports.
At Summit Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Surgery, you don't have to be an athlete to get the region's best orthopedic care. Our board-certified orthopedic surgeons and physicians treat injuries and conditions that affect just about any joint or bone in your body. Plus, we're backed by the support of Southeast Georgia Health System. From fracture repair to joint replacement, Summit Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Surgery will get you moving again. Call 1-855-ASK-SGHS. That's 1-855-275-7447 or visit sghs.org/summit.
Welcome back, sports fans, and thanks for watching On Air with 912 Sports. I'm Sean Smoke. He's Kevin Price, and now we're going to talk a little baseball. Kevin, I know you did some research here. We've got all kind of kids that used to be a part of the 912 coverage area that are going on to do great things in college baseball, and we just thought we'd kind of run through a few of them right now.
Yeah, for sure. So obviously, we just got done with the high school baseball season here in Southeast Georgia and the state of Georgia. But obviously, college baseball season at the Power 5 level, if you will, certainly just getting cranked up going into the postseason. They're having the regionals this weekend, and it'll be the super regionals followed by the College World Series. And Athens, Georgia will be a hot spot this weekend for one of the regionals out there. Athens, Georgia will be hosting a regional. The Georgia Bulldogs, of course, a number one seed in that regional, along with Georgia Tech, UNC Wilmington, and also Army. And, of course, one of our former players here in the 912, one of our standout players, Leighton Finley, one of the pitchers for the Georgia Bulldogs. Of course, he was the SEC Pitcher of the Week earlier this month for one of his outstanding performances against Vanderbilt when Georgia really kind of started to catch fire and make its way to a host and then actually a top 8 national seed. But Sean, in 14 starts this year, he has a 5-1 record, a 4.18 ERA, 69 strikeouts, and 64 and 2/3 innings pitched. The opponents are hitting 243 against him. Like I say, SEC Pitcher of the Week earlier this month when Georgia beat Vandy. And again, they've relied on him. He's logged as many innings really as anybody. And he's a guy that tops out over 90. And read a little bit about him, Sean. I think he pitched in the Cape Cod League over the summer. Of course, Wes Johnson, pitching guru who got the Georgia job, that really worked with him and done a lot of stuff with analytics, and everything kind of seems to be kicking in for Finley. And, it might be interesting to see how he really develops in the next couple of years under Coach Johnson.
Yeah, Kevin, and with the SEC, they call the Friday night pitcher the number one guy, or a lot of times the Friday night is your go-to guy. And I know Leighton's pitched a lot of Friday night games for Georgia, so I'm not saying that he's their number one pitcher because I really don't know if that staff has a number one. They have a lot of guys that are maybe 1A, 1B, 1C kind of deal. But I know Leighton has pitched a lot of Friday night games, and then you look at the SEC, that's kind of how they gauge stuff. So I know he's had a very, very impressive season. I look forward to him. I'm sure they're going to rely on him heavily as they go into these tournaments and hopefully as they move on from the regional to the super regional. But still, a lot of baseball to be played there in Athens this weekend. And, we've had a lot of people from our area go to Georgia. Right now, he seems to be the big dog from our, from the 912 coverage area that is a part of this Georgia team. And we'll see how they fare this weekend.
And, of course, his older brother, Jackson Finley, was a redshirt sophomore, I believe, previously last year on Georgia Tech's team. He is now in the minor league. So just as a side note, they won't be matching up this weekend in Athens. So that won't happen. But Leighton, a sophomore with Georgia, and hopefully the Georgia Bulldogs get it done this week and beyond. But speaking of Georgia, speaking of another 912 area pitcher, you got to see this young man last week in the Class AA State Championship Series. But Dason Griffiths out of Appling County was headed to Tennessee, Sean. Yep. But just last week, right around the time that series was wrapping up, Georgia and Coach Johnson flipped him, if you will, to borrow that football term. I guess it applies to other sports as well. He's now apparently going to be headed to Athens to pitch for the Georgia Bulldogs. Of course, he's a class of 2025 guy. Still going to be there in Baxley for another year playing football as the quarterback this fall, I would assume. And then, of course, pitching again for the Pirates in the spring. And hopefully maybe a state championship or two is in his future there before he goes to Georgia. And hopefully he can maybe win a national championship or an SEC championship with them or both. But here's another fireball pitcher, Sean. He's also a good hitter, plays third. But this guy can already throw it in the mid-90s.
Yeah, Kevin, and he had a great game in that game number 2 in that series over at Georgia Southern. I think he had a 3-hit shutout in that game, pitched all 7 innings, just was throwing heat. And we did the report last week about Appling losing that 3-game series. And even in the report, I reported, hey, listen, if you got a D1 guy, you got to count on him. Here's Tennessee commit Dason Griffith stands up and does his thing. But then, lo and behold, after I do the report, I see a report on on Facebook and social media that he had flipped his commitment from Tennessee to Georgia. So that's a big get for Georgia. I'm telling you, this kid is a big time player. He's a big kid. He plays quarterback, but Kevin, he could easily play middle linebacker if he needed to. I mean, he's stout, and like you said, he's as good on the mound. He's as good at the plate as he is on the mound. So Georgia getting a well-rounded baseball player there, and really looking forward to him being a part of the Dogs. I was sad to see him go to Tennessee. Of course, both you and I are bleed red and black here, and Tennessee, that's a great program. Here they are coming off, winning the SEC here in Hoover, yesterday or whatever it was, this past Sunday. But again, I mean, here's a kid that's a Georgia kid. He needs to stay in Georgia, and that's exactly what he did. So congratulations, to Dason Griffiths.
And Sean, that's just what I was going to say. Georgia needs to be good. They should be good in baseball. I mean, really 3/4 of the conference is going to the NCAA tournament, by the way, and Georgia should be one of those teams, and just couldn't quite get over the hump and stay there under Coach Strickland. But if you're going to be good, you got to keep kids like this in the Peach State, and that's what Coach Johnson has done with Griffiths.
Definitely. So congratulations to both Georgia and Dason Griffiths.
It makes sense Prime South Bank would have a great mobile app. Nobody is as mobile as our customers. For a century, they've chased dreams, followed their hearts, took the road less taken, made a new path, taken leaps of faith. At Prime South, offering the latest digital banking, secure pay apps, and new online lending is part of a mobile tradition that goes way back. Life is mobile. So is Prime South. Find your Prime. Member FDIC.
Play it loud and rev it up. Robbie Robertson's got trucks built for tough.
Make your way to Robbie Robertson Ford in Waycross, where the deals are bigger than ever. Looking for a stylish midsize car, a spacious SUV, or a truck that performs at work and play? Robbie Robertson wants your vehicle and is paying top dollar. Now is the time to buy. Fords are cheaper in the swamp.
And another kid is a Peach State guy, Southeast Georgia guy, Coach. Now, he's going to go to the other school, but that's okay. He's going to go up there on North Avenue, maybe eat a few varsity cheeseburgers, hopefully not too many. But Kyle Lodice from right here in Brunswick, Georgia, has had a great 2 years at Augusta University. In 2023, he was the Freshman of the Year in the Peach Belt Conference, batted .333, playing shortstop for Augusta. And this year, he was a second-team all-conference player, raised his average up to .369, and that just got him second team. So that means there's some good players in that Peach Belt, but certainly he's one of them. And he was an all-state shortstop, and, of course, he pitched at BHS. His younger brother, Jordan, currently part of that BHS team with Coach Greg Roberts. But the transfer portal works both ways, Sean. Not that he was necessarily unhappy at Augusta, but here's a kid who is doing great things down there at Augusta, and it's raised his stock. The Power 5 teams come calling for him, looking for help. He had offers galore from these teams if he were to get in that transfer portal. And now, saw it earlier this week, he's headed to Georgia Tech to finish out his college career. And so congratulations to him. He'll help the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets, and obviously a chance to move on up into college ranks and finish out his college career there in Atlanta with the Yellow Jackets.
Yeah, and like I said, Yellow Jackets getting a great player there. And Kyle, quick story, real funny. I was talking to Coach Greg Roberts during the season, and I mistakenly inverted Kyle for Jordan when I was talking to him, and I was asking about Jordan, but I was using Kyle in our conversation. He said, "Boy, I sure wish I had Kyle coming up for the next game." And I said, "Oh, Coach, I'm sorry. I was actually asking about Jordan." But yeah, he was like, yeah, he knew what Kyle was doing, at the college level. And like I said, he was like, "Yeah, I sure wish he was going to be batting cleanup for us today." But funny story there. But yeah, Jordan had a great year there for Brunswick. But Kyle, congratulations, moving on up to Tech, and I look for big things for him to happen there with the Yellow Jackets. Yeah,
that's awesome for him for sure. And just kind of rounding out our baseball conversation, some other 912 area guys who have gone on to do good things. Georgia College and State right there in Milledgeville had a great year on the D2 level. They also compete in that Peach Belt Conference and ended their year in the D2 Super Regionals. Got beat to end up just short the College World Series there in D2, but we had a couple of guys or several guys playing there for Georgia College and State, and wanted to give them a shout out. A couple of guys from Richmond Hill, Evan Cowan, a sophomore center fielder, Mitch Cowan, a junior infielder, and then also a guy that was our large school player of the year last year, freshman outfielder Hank Noonan from Glenn Academy, and then also a guy you're very familiar with as well, Sean, a sophomore pitcher from Ware County, Carter Barnes. So a lot of guys from Southeast Georgia helping a really good Georgia College and State team go deep into the D2 postseason there in Milledgeville.
Yeah, got put out in that super regional by Catawba, I think is what the name of that college is. Never heard of that college, but it's kind of a weird name there. But, yeah, congratulations to all those 912 guys being a part of that. Great experience there for those guys to go that deep in, playing in the super regionals. Like I said, D2 does it kind of just like D1 does. You go and you play these round-robin tournaments. You lose twice, you get to get it back on the bus. But a great year there for those guys. And so really proud of, all the 912 representation on that team.
Yeah, and I think that Peach Belt really good. I think Georgia Southwestern was good. Of course, Georgia College and State. So some good, baseball in there in that Peach Belt. And those guys certainly represented their conference well and certainly played well. And looking forward to seeing how those guys finish out their college careers as well.
That's Coach Jamie Emmons from Ware County. That's his alma mater there. That's where he played college ball as well. So
yeah, so did Coach Welborn from Glenn Academy. So yeah, there's a tie in there too.
Yeah, a lot of good baseball being played right there in Milledgeville for sure. But Kevin, we do want to. That's going to wrap it up for baseball. We did want to talk a little bit about AD Coach Steve Waters over there in Glenn Academy. A big promotion for him as far as with GHSA, and I know you got a little bit of information on that as well.
Yeah, so this may just mean Steve's getting older and a little more experienced and a little longer in the tooth. So
a little wiser, maybe.
That's kind of what happens. You kind of rise through the ranks. But yeah, kind of a big honor for him. Something coming up. He's kind of served at the state level in a couple of different capacities, and that's always good to have some South Georgia representation, because those guys from Metro Atlanta can gang up on you in a heartbeat and get things going their way when it comes to some of these state level decisions. If you don't have some representation from down this way, kind of trying to represent you and make sure things stay balanced. But, Steve in the past has been on the reclass committee. He's been on the executive committee. We won't get into, what all those committees do and different things like that. But obviously they have a lot of control over what goes on at the state level. And again, he's only one opinion in the room, but, he only has one vote. But anyway, it's good to have some representation from down this way. But he just got voted to the Board of Trustees, which works directly with the GHSA Executive Director and also the President and the Vice President. So that's really, I guess, the highest you can go without being the Executive Director or the President or the Vice President. It kind of works things on a daily basis there. So got voted to the Board of Trustees, pretty high honor there. So he'll continue to work in a pretty important role there with the GHSA at the state level. And, as GHSA governs high school athletics, he'll have a say and be a strong voice, hopefully, for Southeast Georgia.
And we definitely need that voice for sure. We won't get into all the wish list that we have here at 912 Sports, but maybe when we get Steve to the side, we can bend his ear a little bit.
That's a good thought, really. I mean, I didn't necessarily think about that, but, maybe he can carry some of our concerns, because they certainly have them. And, there's a lot of stuff that's outdated, goes back to the 1950s and 1960s when it comes to the media. And maybe we should get Steve and bend his ear, because obviously he knows how we do things, and he's seen it work. And we ought to be firsthand experience for him, and he can use us as a model if he wants to. But exactly. We know for a fact that a lot of what they do media wise needs to change.
Yeah, maybe it won't fall on deaf ears if he's talking about it. But, hey, that's going to wrap up the show. But we got more on air with 912 Sports right after these important messages from our sponsors. Y'all stick around.
Gibson Animal Clinic is ready to help with your animals. From cats to dogs to horses, we treat them all. Calling us for grooming, bathing, boarding, and more serious things like surgery, dentistry, spay, neuter, immunizations, heartworm prevention, flea control, complete lab testing, radiology, preventive health care. Call us at 285-7678. Open Saturdays for your convenience. Gibson Animal Clinic, Practical solutions with reasonable fees. Russell J. Gibson, DVM.
Gibson Animal Clinic, 108 Riverside Drive, Waycross.
Hablamos español en nuestra clínica.
This has been a presentation of 912 Sports.